Hello. In the traditional motion picture story, the villains are usually defeated. The ending is a happy one. I can make no such promise for the picture you're about to watch.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
So we're going to expose them one by one. We're going to expose them. We're going to search for every rotten, crooked, no good, deep state, federal official. We're going to release them one at a time.
There's a fifth column in the United States. We've just discussed this. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, it's the media, it's the Democratic Party, it's all those criminal operatives we saw in John Podesta's emails that get paid to go disrupt things. They also probably, I don't know this for a fact, but they probably also, you know, and I warned the Trump administration years earlier, you know, they're going to follow you around with the $100 gizmos. They're going to intercept all the telephone calls on the cell phones. They're going to look at data. I mean, this isn't the government doing this. This is basically a bunch of thugs hired by the Democratic Party that not only disrupt things, but they do all sorts of clandestine things like this.
Well, I think it becomes necessary to unmask the deep state, to personify them.
ProjectVeritas.com. They have uncovered these deep state anti-Trump operatives. This is day 3 of their release.
A new video is shining a light on what some people call a deep state operating in Washington.
You made, well, Rush, we've known this. Yeah, you've known it, you've suspected it. Veritas have them admitting to it on video.
We now have word all 3 government agencies are investigating. A series of undercover videos now prompting a series of investigations within the government.
So just take a look at this and let me know what you think.
Is this everything?
Everything.
Every level.
And the State Department confirmed his employment, said that they are taking the matter seriously.
How is Secretary Pompeo responding to that?
But rest assured, we're aware of it and we're taking a good look at it.
So if they're going to be working against the administration, they should go probably find another job, don't you think? I mean,
absolutely.
Another video allegedly shows DOJ paralegal Allison Freybar bragging that she can use DOJ resources to help plan political harassment.
And here, a government accountability office employee says,
Everything I'm doing with ESA is stuff I'm not supposed to be doing for work. So what do you mean? Like, it's explicitly related.
Security Alert in CBS News reports that a manhunt is now underway for a traitor inside the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA and FBI conducting a joint investigation into one of the worst security breaches in agency history. It exposed thousands of top-secret documents that describe CIA tools used to penetrate smartphones, smart televisions, and computer systems.
It's obvious that he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's obvious he can't control his mind or his tongue. And what I've suggested, if now, because he's the nominee for the party, and he's entitled to briefings from the CIA, for example, I said publicly, give him fake briefings. Pretend you're briefing him. Don't tell him anything that you don't want to get out. And that's how I feel about it.
God for the deep state. I mean, I think You know, everyone here has seen this progression of diplomats and intelligence officers and White House people trooping up to Capitol Hill right now and saying these are people who are doing their duty, who are responding to a higher call.
Once decried as nothing but a right-wing conspiracy, to some now sounding legit thanks to current and former intel officials themselves. A former acting CIA director there saying Americans should be thankful for the deep state. Obama CIA Director John Brennan was also there at the event embracing the concept. Let's turn to now.
Former CIA agent to John Brennan says your day of judgment is coming. Former CIA Director turned Twitter troll John Brennan lashed out at Trump on Sunday evening after the president ordered the DOJ to investigate the FBI's infiltration of his campaign.
The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange.
To take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do.
All this amid a growing number of Democrats who say they plan to boycott the inauguration. This morning, mounting tensions between President-elect Donald Trump and outgoing CIA Director John Brennan. Brennan, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, unleashing on Trump for his comments last week after unverified and unflattering information was leaked about the president-elect. Was I a leaker of this? No, Brennan told the Wall Street Journal. And he took aim over these comments.
I think it's a disgrace. And I say that, and I say that. And that's something that Nazi Germany would have done. And
FBI Director James Comey reportedly telling the Justice Department to be quiet and stop this talk about bugging at Trump Tower. The administration went to a federal judge and said, we want to surveil the Trump campaign. And the federal judge said yes.
New revelations emerging surrounding spying on the Trump 2016 campaign. The woman who met with George Papadopoulos at a bar in London was allegedly an FBI informant.
George Papadopoulos was approached when he was in London by a guy who worked in Cambridge by the name of Stephen Halper. And Stephen Halper, it's since been revealed, was a CIA asset who began questioning him, Papadopoulos, about whether or not the Trump campaign was working with Russia. Well, now we know from this Inspector General's report and this report coming out of the New York Times that there was a second woman who was present for this particular set of interviews. They weren't really interviews, they were conversations, I guess. And her name was Azra Turk. That's supposedly the name that she had. George Papadopoulos writes about her in his book, Deep State Target, and one of the things he said about her was that she was an attractive woman who posed as Halper's assistant working at Cambridge. Turns out, now we're learning that she was an FBI informant.
And let's just be clear here, Lou. The evidence is overwhelming that Jim Comey's a liar. They used national security letters. They used foreign spies to gather intelligence on Trump. That's already been reported on other outlets, by the way, left-leaning outlets, right? They used a FISA court, otherwise known as a surveillance court, a synonym for spying.
What does that mean? It's been reported on left-leaning
outlets.
outlets. It's been reported on this outlet, which is not left-leaning.
I'm just talking about the foreign spying.
Oh, I see.
Everyone from the New York Times on. The Guardian and CNN have already reported a year ago on the fact that foreign spies, yes, spies, Lou, were feeding information to spies in the United States about the Trump team. I mean, I can pull the article up on my phone right now and show it to you. It's out there for everyone to see. Not to mention one final point. They used an actual spy in Stefan Halper, already reported on by the New York Times. I don't know what Comey's doing.
Which makes me wonder, on August the 6th, so you hadn't interviewed anyone, you're investigating this alleged Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. You're the lead investigator. You originated the investigation. You're the point of contact. You drafted the document. And here you are, before you've interviewed a single solitary witness, saying F Trump. Then that same day, your colleague, Lisa Page, wrote, maybe you're meant to protect the country from that menace. And you responded, I can protect the country at many levels. We're not even a week into an investigation that you originated, approved, were the contact for. You hadn't interviewed a single solitary soul until August the 11th. And you're already promising to protect the country from that menace, Donald Trump. And then on August the 8th, you still hadn't interviewed anyone. You're 8 days into your Russian collusion with the Trump campaign investigation, and you got another text from your colleague, Lisa Page. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And you replied, no, he's not. We'll stop it.
This is September 2nd. Remember, July 5th is the day they say we're not going to charge Clinton. Comey does his now famous press conference to say no charges will be brought. Later that same month, Peter Strzok, the same guy who ran the Clinton investigation, opens the Russia-Trump investigation. 2 weeks later, August 14th, we have the text message from Strzok and Page where Peter Strzok says we need an insurance policy in case the American people actually make Donald Trump president. And then 2 weeks after that, September 2nd, they say POTUS needs to know everything we are doing. So take it in context. I think it raises lots of concerns, lots of suspicion. That's why we need to look into it and find out exactly what's going on.
The FBI knew that the administration was about to approve a deal that was corrupt. Dave, that would be negligence on the FBI's part.
This is the same FBI and Justice Department that gave Hillary Clinton a pass on the email scandal where the evidence to obtain an indictment and a conviction, the evidence of guilt, was overwhelming. This is the same Obama administration that desperately did not want Donald Trump to succeed Barack Obama in the White House. So as reprehensible as this behavior is, it ought not be surprising.
That I've discovered a pattern of corruption that the Washington press has been covering up for 3 or 4 years. You should have jumped all over this in 2015 when this awful conflict was mentioned. Sure. And it was hidden and suppressed by the Washington press. But you know the reality is I'm embarrassing you because you didn't do your job. And I'm also going to bring out a pay-for-play scheme in the Obama administration that will be devastating to the Democrat Party. Okay. I expected, the moment I heard Biden's name, I told my colleagues they're going to try to kill me because they're going to kill the messenger. But damn it, the mafia couldn't kill me. Right. Your colleagues are not going to kill me.
Okay, so do you think that this is effectively the deep state at work? That there are a lot of people that didn't like this president and want to take him down?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. You know, people laugh at us sometimes when we use the term deep state, but there is a deep state. The deep state is real. You don't have to call it the deep state. You can call it the federal bureaucracy. You can call it the government. But it's a deep state, and this deep state from the very beginning of this president's administration has sought him ill. They've proven that time and time again.
Looking, compelling proof of coup plot against Donald Trump. I've been in the business since the 70s, the news business. I've never seen this kind of political warfare. Is it going to get worse? What's going on in your estimation?
It can't get any better. They're so far committed now, the whole future of the Democratic Party depends entirely on whether they can convince the majority of voters that all the lies that they're telling, all the lies that the media repeats endlessly are true.
You're right here. It's hilarious and true. He tweeted, I think it's obvious to the American people there's a coup going on from intelligence and unintelligence. Yep, that's pretty painful. Hard to disagree, they write. Hard to disagree. They continue that almost every day CNN and just about every other mainstream media outlet just reveal how unintelligent they are by reporting leaks from so-called anonymous sources. They cling to the stories that these leaks pass off as truth regardless of how ridiculous the stories seem and how biased it makes them look.
The evidence of Mrs. Clinton's personal complicity in soliciting donations into the millions for the Clinton Foundation in return for permitting the Russian ownership of American uranium interests in the United States, which can only happen with the personal permission of the Secretary of State, is overwhelming. Why was she not pursued on this?
Well, the big question for me is why did the Obama administration approve of the deal? It was, you're right, Secretary of State was one of the officials that had to approve. There were other administration officials that had to approve. Why did they allow it to go forward knowing what was in this FBI report?
What's going on now is the single greatest scam in the history of American politics. The Democrats want to take away your guns. They want to take away your health care. They want to take away your vote. They want to take away your freedom. They want to take away your judges. They want to take away everything. We can never let this happen. We're fighting to drain the swamp, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And you see why we have to do it. Because our country is at stake like never before.
It's all very simple. They're trying to stop me because I'm fighting for you, and I'll never let that happen.